everyone, this is Warhawk Beyond 2040, and welcome to another edition of the X-Men 97 review series. And today we are going to be talking about episode 4,
Motendo / Lifedeath Part 1.
and we are joined once again with the one and only, the badass himself, Rex the Boss 11. Rex, welcome back. Great to have you here once again.
Yeah, welcome. Shout out to everyone. Thank you for having me here. Hey guys, how's it going? Let's talk about X-Men 97, episode 4.
So this is essentially 2 episodes in one. So the first part is
Motendo,
and the second part of this episode is Life-Death Part 1. So we're going to talk about the first part
of this episode called Motendo.
This is essentially, you could call this a filler. This is Jubilee's 18th birthday. So this was what I pretty much expected. If you're going to do like a spotlight episode, this is what I expected from something like a character like Jubilee. I mean, what did you think of this part of the episode with Jubilee's birthday?
Well, like Beast says in the like sort of breakfast meeting, you know, then obviously to celebrate her birthday, he clearly uses the word jubilation, obviously to spell out her full name, let everyone know.
Yeah.
This is actually, her name is Jubilation Lee. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we figured that out years ago, but yeah, they're just telling you that now. 4 episodes in. Yeah, it was obviously to combine the two things, wasn't it? To get, is it Motendo or Montendo? I don't know what it is, but it's something.
Motendo. It's a play on the Nintendo console.
Yeah, I think you were calling it Montendo, like as in like Nintendo, but it is actually Motendo because it's that Mojo, isn't it? That's his name.
Yes.
Right. So in the original series, what was his name? Long Star, Lucky Shot, Long Shot, something like that. Yeah, he was a intergalactic fighter like Cortez and them man there, and Jubilee fell for him, and he was part of this Mojo game show. Yeah, in the original series.
That's right.
So these wake up in this episode. This is Jubilee and Sunsport. I don't think are they in the bedroom together, or did they actually wake up together? Because we're obviously getting there a bit more adult based in this. So obviously these are teenagers. There's obviously something going on between the two. This is clearly, even though it's called Motendo, and it sounds like a fake Nintendo. This is like Motendo, but this is like a modern Japanese Sega clone.
Yeah,
because this is clearly looking like a Mega Drive or a Genesis.
Yeah, I definitely got that vibe.
It says 16-bit on the thing. And it's got a cartridge in the top middle. This was clearly based on the Sega Genesis, or Sega Mega Drive, as we know it here in the UK.
Or Super Nintendo.
I thought it was a bit, what's the Superman thing? Like Superman, where they do the Brainiac thing or whatever he turns the woman into in the film.
Oh, yeah.
Things go into their eyes.
The supercomputer.
You know, when obviously they log into the computer, Jubilee and Sunsport.
Yeah.
I forget what's his name? Carlos? What's this guy's name?
Roberto.
Yeah. Luckily, I just said Carlos. I was about to say a few more Spanish-sounding names, and it could have led down an uncomfortable road for myself. Although I am actually Hispanic myself, there's a part of me that is Hispanic either way, so you know what I mean? But then I've got no excuse really not to remember his name. But yeah, they're together, and then the way that it takes over their body, it's a bit creepy. You would never get that in a Saturday morning kids cartoon. Yeah, to be fair, I enjoyed what I seen of this bit of it, because I thought straight away you've gone 2 or 3 episodes. Now we're getting another quick nostalgia buzz of, do you remember this? Do you remember these characters? Although Mojo does look slightly different now, doesn't he? He looks skinnier and
I did mention that
momentarily he looks like that.
Yeah, Jubilee did mention that. Have you lost weight? And Mojo said, "Yes, I have undergone a bit of a change since we last met." You know, so they do poke fun at the fact that he's lost weight now, because if you remember Mojo in the original series, he was humongous.
Well, he does turn humongous eventually in this, doesn't he? Where
eventually he does.
5 times the size of what he started off as.
I think with this episode, or this part of the episode anyway, I think if this gets released on Blu-ray, this is one of those things where it probably would work as like an extra, like a little mini short, like a 5 or 6 minute mini short. Because I definitely got that vibe from watching this. I thought this feels like a short, like you could have as an extra on a DVD or Blu-ray. Like as you said, this is something that has nothing to do with the main story arc, but it worked. It didn't feel like, well, why are we getting this? This has got nothing to do with what's going on. And I think also after that heavy, dark episode we had, which was episode 3, you kind of need a little bit of fun here just to lighten up the mood.
Yeah,
So,
like I said, it's a nostalgia trip. It's a nostalgia trip.
yeah,
They're showing you stuff from the original series. That's true. There was never really no resolution, like I said, from the original series of what actually happened to these characters. So it's like, at some point we're going to get the Shia and all that. So why not give us this half random episode based around Jubilee's birthday? It gives you some serious point. Because once again, now I realize very, very quickly, wait, so Jubilee was like a 10, 12-year-old when she first got in this team then. That's why they would never let her out. Even though she looked, on paper, as we were kids, she looked older than us all because we were all 5 and 6 and 8 and all that type of stuff. She looked older than us, but she was only 12 with all the rubber gloves and the long yellow, like,
leather coat,
waterproof jacket that she wears and stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anorak. That's what I'm thinking of. Anorak.
Yeah, she used to wear that a lot, and that's why Wolverine was so protective of her.
It was good, and it was also a good way subtly to get Sunsport into you're gonna have to learn that it's not about you being scared that your family know that you're a mutant. You are a mutant, and you also have the ability to save and to hurt people if you want. So you're gonna have to start making some serious choices outside of what your image looks like, rich boy.
Now, there was a moment in this episode which I didn't expect, but I thought this was a nice little surprise they threw in this one. Jubilee actually meets her older self, although it's not technically her real older self. It's like a computer game version of herself who calls herself Abskiska. I think that's how you pronounce her name.
Absiska or something, isn't it?
Absiska, that's it. Something like that. Yeah, she just essentially looks like Jubilee, but just much older with white hair, like almost like a punk sort of rock chick.
A grandma version of her.
Yeah, but still wearing like all the stuff that Jubilee loves wearing.
Yeah, never changed the clothes or the earrings or the headphones.
Yeah, still got the pink Bret Hart like shades and the big earrings. So she never really grew up, and I thought that was a nice moment.
Visors.
Yeah, that's it.
Visors.
That's it.
Remember the hats that used to have them on them built in? Do you remember them?
Yeah, I remember.
Baseball caps that used to have them visors built in. They some of the things, man, before technology came around like that. Some of the things.
Yeah, some of them have not aged very well. Yeah, didn't they? Didn't those hats used to have like the visors like clipped on the top of the hat? Didn't they?
Used to tuck them in underneath where your forehead is.
Yeah.
And then obviously when you couldn't see what was going on, or you needed glasses, you would use the visors as like sunglasses. It's the most ridiculous thing, and it's like for instance, like, what about who's protecting behind you? If you're blinded by, you know what I mean? Like, if you've got a pair of sunglasses that are built into your hat, like, you don't know you're never going to know what's behind you. Kids would have been walking into all sorts.
I know. Yeah, it's crazy. It's a crazy, weird time. Gotta love it. As you say, you look back at it now, you think, what the hell were they thinking? But it's nostalgia. This is what this part of the episode was. It was definitely a play on nostalgia.
Sunglasses. It's £1 for the sunglasses and £1 for this hat, but it's $4.99 for this hat and sunglasses combination.
Yeah. Wow.
No wonder they became like 50p. You know what I mean? No wonder.
I know, but no, this part of the episode was definitely a little trip down nostalgia, showing you what computer games were like, showing you like arcades and the 16-bit pixel. This was a fun episode, but this part of the episode anyway, I thought this was really fun, and I thought this was nice that Jubilee actually got an episode to herself, because as you said, she was always the kid who says, "No, you stay behind. It's too dangerous." So to actually see her have her own little spotlight episode, I thought was good. I thought was really good. And her and Roberto, just them two, obviously they did eventually share a little kiss at the end. I get the sense that something else happened with them. Like it was a bit more than just a kiss as it faded to black, don't you think?
They were in the bedroom at the start of the episode, so they're
And
obviously
then
allowed
end
to
up in the
spend time with
bedroom at
each
the
other.
end.
Yeah, obviously allowed to spend time with each other before and after she turned 18. So
Yeah.
it's either there's a lot of trust, or because she's obviously got powers, it's less likely that someone's going to try it on with her in a weird way, unless she, of course, wants something to happen. Which then, yeah, I back up what you said and said, yeah, this was potentially a little bit more than just a kiss. If they're going to show a kiss, this was a bit like what I've seen with Harley Quinn and Deadshot in one of those.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if it was one of the films, and I also seen it in one of the comic book films as well. I seen it in an animated film, and I also seen it in the Suicide Squad film. But I'd already seen it in the animated version. So both of them featured a scene. It was practically a redo of the same thing. Do you know what I'm on about? It's
Yeah, I
in
know
one
what
of
you mean.
in one of the films. It's in one of the DC animated films, and then they put it with Will Smith and Thingy in the film, didn't they?
They did a similar sort of thing with him. Not to the extreme that the animated movie did, but they did do the scene. I know what you mean. They did something
He
like
definitely banged it. Though. He definitely banged it, didn't he? Like obviously we know
that. Oh yeah, of course he did.
he banged.
Totally.
He banged. It's like a fight, and then it turns into a shag, don't it? Like you know what I mean in the film. Like she just that's her way of obviously getting turned on or whatever. I don't know. Yeah.
She
But
just
yeah,
went
like I said, they can handle themselves. So you kind of know when you get to a degree, they could have shown more, but it's sort of enough to say, yeah, I think he tapped that still.
Oh, he definitely clapped that 100%.
Yeah. She was on it. She's on it anyway, and he seems like a bit of a deer in headlights. Like, and plus, I'm pretty sure that he said something to her in either this episode or the last one where he explains that he can't, because at any point he boils the water or whatever. Maybe it's not in this, maybe it's in the next episode, but I'm sure he explains at some point that he can't even, like, he was on a date with a girl and he like nearly killed her by turning into like obviously his like different version of him, and then he boiled the water that they were in the swimming pool, and she's like, well, yeah, I'm not, she's not going to be afraid of any of that because she's obviously an X-Men herself. So it's like, well, I've got more to defend myself than that. So that you can see that she's got a little bit more say over him than what a normal female would.
I definitely got that vibe.
Very rare as well, isn't it, that the X-Men go out with normal people as well. Like they don't ever seem to get in. I think Beast is the only one who seems to ever really get. Maybe Charles, I don't know. Like the rest of them only seem to date mutants.
Yeah. I think Beast did date someone who was normal, and Xavier definitely he had a relationship with Moira at one point.
Yeah.
And that's about it, really. The rest of the X-Men have never got involved with like normal people because of, well, the obvious reason. But no, this was a good fun episode. Rex, what would you rate this part of the episode out of 10?
What, are we breaking this down into two separate sort of episodes then, yeah?
Yeah, because this was like 2 in
sort of
1.
Part A, Part B, yeah? Yeah, this part of it, I'm not going to go mad on it. It was only like an 8 out of 10. It was nice to see all the nostalgic stuff. It had absolutely nothing to do with the overall storyline, plot line, and to be fair, it had absolutely nothing to do with the X-Men at all. This was a Jubilee and Sunsport. Yeah, well, he's not really even Sunsport yet, is he? He's just Roberto at the moment. Yeah, it was just a standalone sort of story for them, because in the original series, like you say, Jubilee would have never been given that standalone story. That was always set for Wolverine or for the Nightcrawler episode, people like that.
Yeah, I think I'm definitely in agreement with you. This is worthy of a solid 8 out of 10. Nothing special happened in here. Nothing big, or there was no surprises. It was just Jubilee having a little fun adventure, just being a kid, really. So yeah, I'll definitely give this an 8 out of 10. I thought this was fun. As you said, this not really much to get your teeth into, but it did exactly what it said on the tin.
Would have ended the episode the way with this, or the whole episode would have been based around this, then yeah, I probably would have been a little bit more critical. But they got this out of there in a quick enough time.
Yeah, they did. I thought the length of time they did it was well done.
It may have also been this episode here that led them to, because I feel like there is a couple of moments in the series where I feel like this might have been a batch of maybe 20-minute episodes that they did to start off the sort of get the blood pumping. This feels like this was maybe, episode 2 or 3. It was supposed to just be a standalone 20-minute episode. And they realized, no, we can't just give them 20 minutes of this. People will be annoyed. Let's just make the episodes longer. This may have been the catalyst that confirmed them to say, yeah, do you know what? Let's go with the 40-minute idea rather than the 20-minute idea, and give this as like little bits over the series. We'll just give you like a 15 to 20-minute sort of standalone old school length episode based on something that you can remember from back in the day, either the Shi'ar or these alien creatures, etc.
Yeah. So now we're going to move on to the second part of episode 4, and this is Lifedeath Part 1. So this is pretty much, you would say, this is more a Storm episode. This is mostly focusing on Storm, where she meets Forge, and she basically just hangs out with him on his ranch as she tries to attempt to get her powers back. This was quite a good episode. This was more an emotional episode. We got to spend more time with Storm as she's trying to get to grips with being powerless and trying to get her powers back. So what was your thoughts on this part of the episode?
I mean, I'm going to be honest and say I don't get it, because Storm's so powerful as an actual character.
Yeah.
I don't need Storm not to have any powers.
No.
Already at a disadvantage already. And I'm talking when I say we are, I mean the X-Men and the people that believe in the X-Men. So we're already like a few characters down because Charles is not here. Jean is obviously, who knows at this point what anyone's thinking about the true Jean character. Once again, Morph has returned. He's changing into all kinds of characters that are not helpful. Beast has never been the really out in the field type of guy. So it just basically breaks down every week to Gambit, Logan, and Rogue really having to fight without Storm. That's mad. So to see her in this really weakened, human, depressed, emotionally unstable way, but bearing in mind that she still hasn't found out that how and who created the technology that led to her becoming it. So we've still got all that type of stuff to come for her, yeah?
Yeah.
She hasn't got her powers. She's not powerful anymore. Like, she's saying things like, it feels weird that she can't feel the wind anymore. And she does that thing where she says she recognizes the bird, and so it's all that metaphorical stuff that's like really weird. But to be fair, I'm going to say this now. This is one of the most important things that you will ever see in a comic book or in a cartoon when it comes to adversary. What they're saying is, despite obviously you can see that Storm is obviously of color.
Yes.
This is the version of the gay or the black. This is Storm as a human who has had her, let's just say, power, which is obviously color or sexuality taken away from her. Without her choice. Without her choice. They are showing here very powerfully that a human, this is why people become unstable. Why people, because they don't know who they are. She doesn't know who she is without being the goddess that is Storm. She doesn't know. Aurora, the woman, she doesn't know her. So at this point, it's like, this was very good. This was solid for something that I don't think even the original series would have dared lean on so strongly, which is going from the Jubilee thing, which is, right, shut your mouth, you little brat, you finally got your own standalone episode. To the one character that is the most powerful character without the storyline, but we just accepted Storm has been powerful from day one. She didn't even need the Rogue origin that Rogue got, but she got it in the original series because they obviously showed where she comes from and the Egyptian stuff, and her brother being like the Black Panther type of character. But they're looking at Storm now in this position. She looks so vulnerable and so weak and so humanized. But I think she's first. and foremost, she's dealing with emotion for the very, very first time. Emotion may be something that the character of Storm has only just wondered about, because all her emotions are tornadoes and lightning bolts.
Yeah, all the elements.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, this episode was quite emotional because you very rarely ever get to see Storm this vulnerable, and certainly in this position. And giving her a spotlight episode, I thought that was a really good idea because we've always seen Wolverine get the big spotlight episodes, and we've seen other characters get this sort of treatment. But I think Storm definitely earned this kind of episode, and you get to see more of how Storm copes without all this power, because she's so used to being a goddess controlling all of the elements, and now she doesn't have any of that. It was quite different. It's not really something I would have expected from this series, especially now 4 episodes into this series. It's definitely not what I would have expected, but I thought they told a really good story. I thought they did a really good job. And we saw this demon called the Adversary.
Yeah. I was gonna mention that. They're like the mythological sort of beast thing that was like putting ideas in their heads and stuff.
Yeah, I was sitting there thinking to myself, could this be Mr. Sinister behind this? But it wasn't really, though, was it?
No, I think it's something to do with Forge.
Yeah, I think it probably was to do with Forge, because this being called the Adversary, this was more to try and get Storm out of her shell.
Forge made a deal with something in the Vietnam War. That's the backstory. He was in the Vietnam War when he lost his leg and that, yeah? And I feel that he made some deal with something, and then obviously that's the Adversary, which obviously every time that he's faced with these types of things, or anyone around him this is where the Adversary will come and try to feed on the sort of insecurity and, like the failures of people, basically.
Yeah, it was, pretty much. This is basically like making you confront, like you said, your own failures. Yeah, I definitely got that vibe from the Adversary.
Once again, as I said before, I don't think that Storm's character has ever been that connected, humanized in a human way, that you started calling her even the most horrible things. I don't think it would even bother her. I think she would just look at it like, whatever. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, she's always, out of all the X-Men characters, Storm's probably the most laid back and level-headed. It's like nothing ever really phases her.
She's emotionless. She's only in tune with the element, like to the point where in the original comic book series, the original cartoons animated series, they're all talking about, I'll get you. She's like, with the wind and the fire, and she's not even with it. Like, she's completely like gone from this world. Like, eyes all glowing with lightning and whatever else. She's completely gone, bro. When you really break down Storm's character, this is raw human form of Storm. I don't like it. But then I didn't really like the completely not with it. I feel like she has to go through this for her to become a more humanized goddess.
Yeah. I think this episode, or this part of the episode, maybe they should have called it the Trial of Storm, or Storm's Trial.
For me, she's got no human nature before she goes through this. So I'm glad that I'm kind of glad that they put her through this, because we may not, the whole morph thing. Storm, you're very helpful, but we don't need your quirks and your comments and, elemental jargon. Yeah, we need you to just fire lightning bolts down at people and help us here.
Like, just do your job, basically.
Stop changing into characters to impress us and just change into something that's going to help.
Bring forth the elements of lightning.
Don't. Wind, my friend. No, please don't. I don't need your statements now, Storm. I literally, oh my word, you give me flashbacks to like 1995.
If we can keep this up, we'll go to Captain Planet mode if you want.
She was practically a Captain Planet god. A Captain Planet. Yeah, she was a Captain Planet. She was all of the Captain Planet characters combined, and Captain Planet.
earth, wind, water, heart. Oh, yeah, definitely. When I heard Storm like say "Bring forth the wind," I thought, "Yep, we've this is definitely a '90s X-Men cartoon." Yeah, I wouldn't. It wouldn't be an X-Men '90s cartoon without hearing that. I'm afraid.
I won't deny, I will not deny, I'm going to say this just for the love of any person who actually likes Storm. Storm's character is badass.
Oh, 100%.
But you cannot tell me that those first couple of series in the animated series, her whole purpose was 4 lines of sort of English Shakespearean dialogue talking about the weather before mad stuff happens. The voice actress, it made Storm's character seem like delusional, helpful, but completely and utterly spaceship
Out.
wise delusional. Like what you would expect from, say, the Vision. She was less humanized than the Vision was, and he was created out of a Infinity Stone. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Honestly, she had less human emotions. So hopefully now we can get going forward a more humanized version. Storm finally got to experience some of the human nature and human feelings that she said that she'd always longed for. So hopefully going forward we get a more humanized version of her. Because I'll tell you for a fact, I enjoyed everything I've seen of this, but there was also a bit of a sadistic vibe to this.
yeah, there was definitely a
Too
sadistic vibe
powerful.
to it.
You're too powerful. And at the end of the day, you need to be aware that no matter how powerful you are, you're going to be the target, like Magneto. Humans will always hate you because you actually, on paper, are really, really powerful.
Yeah. Well, as we come to the end of this episode, we see what happened in the end? Storm poisoned Forge, didn't she?
Well, she finds out, doesn't she, that he was the one who is that in this episode? Does she find out that obviously he's the one who created the weapon?
I think so. Yeah,
He's the one that created the weapon
that
that
got her
actually
depowered.
in the first place. So it's like, well, how the hell am I supposed to trust you if you're the person who did it? And obviously, because obviously they don't show this. This doesn't come across amazingly in the program at this stage, but there's obviously something going on between the two now.
Yeah, definitely.
Like if this was a '90s comic, you would get none. A '90s animated series, you wouldn't even know that there was anything going on because it would never have been hinted upon. There were some
No,
subtle little things about caring for each other and etc. But once again, it doesn't matter who's the voice behind Storm. It matters that the dialogue is always, like you say, bring forth the elements, the wind and the elements of the rain. Bring forth the wind from the Sahara Desert and all this stuff. You kind of just sort of drift into a sort of just automatic. It's like a MJF. I'm better than you, and you know it. Eventually, it becomes. You know what they're gonna say. I got 2 words for you. That's the bottom line. If you smell, you know, as much as you're entertained by it. When you're 12, it's great. When you're 30 odd, it's like, yeah, get on with it. You know what I mean?
yeah, definitely. Well, so as we come to the end of this episode, what was your thoughts on this part of the episode, Life Death Part 1?
I mean, solid. Like I say, once again, I am just going to give this another 8 because if I'm going to give it a 9, because to be fair, to see Storm in that weakened condition, it's quite eye-opening because of the fact that you know that it's not just based on her mutant powers, it's obviously based on race or sexuality or whatever. So you know that there's definitely some hidden meanings with these storylines that were written. I think these are Claremont storylines, aren't they? These are Chris Claremont storylines from like the late 80s, early 90s sort of era of X-Men. Yeah, I enjoyed what I seen. I mean, 9 out of 10 is fair. I think overall for the episode itself, I'm going to give both the episodes an 8.5 that'd fit right in the middle between 9 and 8.5. It's definitely not anywhere near a 10. I don't think it warrants a 9, and I don't think both episodes warrant as low as to be rated as an 8. They did have some irrelevant qualities. There are some standalone qualities. I think the Storm bit fitted in more for the whole purpose because we've got to find out what's happening with Storm. But at the same time, it did prove one thing, which was Storm hasn't got her powers, but you've also been given the kick up the backside, which is, yeah, you know, Randy Orton was in Evolution, so was Batista. So just because Randy Orton broke out first, do not sleep on Batista, which obviously Batista is Jubilee, which is, yeah, Storm's not got her powers now, but do not take Jubilee for the little girl that she was 3 seasons ago in the old series. She is a fully grown woman now. This is why you got that. She can represent a powerful female, young female who has got the ability. So she's now Rogue from the original series now.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I'm going to go with your rating as well. This part of the episode was a 9 out of 10, and both episodes combined, yeah, 8.5. This was pretty solid. Yeah, it was a pretty good, solid episode, both parts.
To be fair, it was a bit risky. Like, if this had been a different series based on a character that maybe didn't have a previous 4 or 5 series in the past, that the whole series and the premise was based on, I don't think you'd have got a standalone episode like this after 4 episodes.
No,
I feel
probably
like
not.
it would have been maybe 9, 8, episode 8 or 9, 7, 8, or 7 or 8 to be fair, before they would have done a 2 or 3 parter for the final few episodes.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, yeah, overall this was pretty decent. Maybe not as strong as episode 3, but it was still enjoyable. I thought this was quite decent. I think out of these two parts of the episode, I probably would go with the Storm side of the episode was probably just a little bit better than the Jubilee episode. But the Jubilee episode part of it was not terrible, but I just think the Storm one was maybe just a little bit better. So that's going to be it from us. We are going to wrap this up now. What was your thoughts on episode 4, Motendo / Life Death Parts 1? Did you enjoy it? Which one was better, the Jubilee side of the episode or the Storm side of the episode? You know what to do, guys. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, leave your thoughts and comments down below, and we will see all of you next time for another edition of the X-Men 97 review series, where we are going to be talking about episode 5. So make sure you don't miss that. Rex, this has been a lot of fun as always, and great having you here.
Yeah, of course, I appreciate being here. And yeah, let's see what happens in the next episode of X-Men 97.
See you soon, guys, and bye for now.